I'm sorry it took me a little while to get back to you. I'm kind of backed up on my video replies, but this was a comment I very much wanted to address. To be honest with you, if you're not a believer in the Bible at the end of this, you might not like my answer, but I'm going to give you a biblical one nonetheless. This kind of comment is something I've heard an awful lot from non-believers, and I often wondered this myself when I was a non-believer. Why would God give babies cancer and let all these innocent children die and all these horrible things? The answer is actually quite simple. This is Luke chapter 20. But that the dead are raised, even Moses showed in the passage about the bush, where he calls the Lord the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Now he is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living, for all live to him. And let's jump back to the Old Testament real quick. This is Job chapter 14. So a man lies down and rises not again till the heavens are no more. He will not awake or be roused out of his sleep. Oh, that you would hide me in Sheol, that you would conceal me until your wrath be past, that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. To someone that doesn't study scripture, this isn't going to make any sense for you. So let me paraphrase. There's two big takeaways from these passages I read you. First of all, is that to you and to me, all the people that have ever lived now or in the age before us appear dead. But to God, they're not actually dead. Not yet, anyways. The second big takeaway is that when you die, you don't go straight to heaven or hell. Technically, you do go straight to hell, but not in the way most people think. Luke chapter 16, this story goes into a lot more detail on that subject. And the Apocrypha book, 2nd Esdras, really tells us a lot of information about what happens when we die. When you die, you go straight to Sheol, or hell. In hell, there's a good side and a bad side. And if you are appointed to the good side, you get a snapshot to see what good things are waiting for you. And vice versa. On the bad side, you get a snapshot of all the bad things waiting for you. But either way, you end up sleeping until God raises us all for Judgment Day and we're appointed to our place in eternity. I'm sure to a non-believer this sounds absolutely crazy. It would have sounded that way to me when I was a non-believer. But the fact of the matter is this: you can't possibly perceive the things of God. You can't possibly know what he knows or see what he sees. It would be like explaining to an infant what it's like to be an adult. They're not going to get it. God knows things that you don't, and to God, all those people that you think are dead aren't dead yet. That's not to say those people might not end up dying anyways and permanently this time. However, all those people are still alive for the time being, at least until Judgment Day. So you see horrible things happening to children. I get it. It's horrible for all of us. I would never want something like that to happen to my own children. Or anyone else's for that matter. But at the end of the day, God gave us his word. He gave us enough that we could understand, but not all the pieces of the puzzle. The one thing I know for sure is that God is a righteous judge, and on the day of judgment, he will make everything right and fair. And if you read the Bible, God and Jesus very much love children. Sometimes children suffer because of what their parents ended up doing. I mean, look at us. Technically speaking, all of us are suffering because of what Adam and Eve did. But we have to live the life that we are given from God and know that on the day of judgment, he's going to make everything right. So while this answer may or may not satisfy your need to know, the fact of the matter is the Bible tells us that these people aren't dead. These people are sleeping in the depths of the earth until the time that God will raise all of us and judge us. Revelation chapter 7. And after this I looked, and behold, a great multitude that no one could number, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes with palm branches in their hands. And crying out with a loud voice, salvation belongs to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb. This is a prophecy in Revelation of the resurrection. And he says that an innumerable crowd will be gathered before the throne of God from every nation, every tribe, every language, and will all be praising him together. All of those people died and were brought back to life. Just like Yeshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, my Messiah, died and was brought back to life, and it changed the entire world in the blink of an eye. Do you think 2/3 of the entire world believes in the Bible and nothing happened? And that's just what's alive right now. We're not even talking about the last 2,000 years full of believers. What happened 2,000 years ago to my Messiah on that cross changed the face of the earth for the next forever. And the reason is because a lot of people saw something that was impossible. But that's the moment we all knew that the promises of God would not come back void.